Is there a word for yes and no in Latin? We're going to talk about that today. I'm Luke, and this is polýMATHY. Latin has a lot in common with other languages like the Gaelic languages, Manx, Irish, and Scottish Gaelic. These languages don't have a word for yes or no. So what do? Instead, what they do is if you were to ask something like, do you live in Rome? You could simply say, I live. Latin works like that too. Habitas ne Romae? Habito. Do you live in Rome? I do. Or rather, I live. And that's the way to say it. And languages that do this, they're called echo languages. They use the verb of the question and they just state it back. And that's all that's necessary. Chinese does that too. Finnish does that. Latvian also did that for a while until they borrowed the word ja from German, which is actually a little bit like what Romanian did. Romanian took the word da from Slavic languages that were in that vicinity and used that for its word for yes. And we'll get back to Romanian later. English has the words for yes and no, right? And so we call this a two-form system. But actually, English used to be a four-form system. There was the word yes and no, but also yeah or yay and nay. And we can see this in the works of Shakespeare. From the time of early modern English up to the present, that kept changing. But back in Shakespeare's time and earlier, in the time of early modern English, this four system was something like, will they not go? Yes, they will go. Will they not go? No, they won't go. So that's what yes and no are used for. But if you state the question positively, without the negative, without not in it, will they go? Yeah or yay. Yay, they will go. Will they go? Nay, they won't go. So English used to be a 4-4 system like that. Later, though, from the 1600s onward, this keeps changing to the point where English is just a 2-form system now, and yay or yeah and yes are collapsed together, and nay or na, which is a more modern way of pronouncing that, and no, they're all just the same. It's just a two-form system. But some languages are actually 3-form, like a lot of the Germanic languages, including German. In German, if you have a positive question, you can simply respond ja, and if it's no, just nein. But if someone asks a negative thing, but it's the contrary, like, you don't live in Rome, you can respond with doch. In fact, indeed, I do live in Rome. French does this too. French has the word si. So French would do the same thing in that situation. They would say si, as opposed to the regular 2-form parts, which are oui and non. The si is to express this kind of, no, what you said isn't true. In fact, I do have that thing or do that thing. And speaking of si, of course, this word is used in Spanish and Italian for yes. Well, where does that come from? Well, it comes from the Latin word sic, which means thus. There are a couple words for thus in Latin, like sic and ita, and these can be used as ways to say yes. Other ways include certe, plane, sane, or to state something negatively, minime, hardly at all. So Latin has a lot of these little interjection words, but there is no single way to say yes or no. The simplest way might be to say etiam and non, but as we can see, there's a whole variety of ways to say yes and no. In addition to early modern English, Romanian also seems to have this 4-form system, where da means yes in the basic positive way, and nu means no, when a question is asked with just the positive terminology, without some kind of negation particle. But if there is some kind of negation in the question, then bada or banu is used instead. So when we speak Latin, we can use sic and ita, we use plane, sane, certe, and then also we can restate the verb, or a combination of many of these things. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Walete. Quello si sente perfettamente sul
Sì.
microfono. So Latin has a lot of these little interjectionary